Good afternoon, everyone. It is currently the 13th of September 2011, and meteorologist Robert Spett here with today's Western Pacific weather update. Looking across the Western Pacific today, though, starting off here with tropical depression 18W, still unnamed by JMA, and JTWC still has not upgraded this to a tropical storm just yet. It is currently tracking actually northeast. It's slowly retrograding right now as it is seeing an exceptionally high amount of vertical wind shear along the western periphery. Thus, this has knocked out a lot of the clouds along the western periphery, and most of the convection is located off here towards the east. We'll dive a little bit more on that in a second, but first I also do want to mention this stationary boundary all the way up here towards the north, extending here from northern China across North Korea and out towards Japan. Now, this is producing some rain showers over Hokkaido today with a lot of cloud cover, although the rest of Japan is seeing basically a strong high pressure dominating throughout this entire region there, and that is producing some fair weather with high temperatures, actually upwards of 90 degrees throughout much of southern Honshu. This is a little bit of welcomed relief since there still is a lot of recovery efforts going on down around Shikoku in southern Honshu due to tropical storm or typhoon Talas that occurred nearly 2 weeks ago now. And here's another look at what I'm speaking of here with this high pressure off towards the north and the stationary boundary basically extending here from Hokkaido off towards the west. That's what's really being indicated by here in the green is rain showers throughout both of these areas. But fair weather throughout much of these other areas here. That's what's indicated by this circle with a clear in it. I do want to mention that as well. Also noting this H, which is stamping for the high pressure throughout this region, this big ridge of high pressure. And that is going to be a major steering influence on this tropical depression down here towards the south of the Bonin Islands and Iwato, located up here towards the north. This is expected to turn off towards the northwest, even though it is slowly moving northeast at this time. And that is indicated here on JMA's forecast. They do have it retrograding off towards the northeast, but due to that high pressure off towards the north, it shouldn't move too much further in this direction and start to slowly move off towards the west. Now, the intensity of this system should remain rather weak, maybe a weak tropical storm at most, mainly due to this high amount of vertical wind shear off here towards the west. That's going to continue to knock off a lot of these cloud coverage, and as we saw with the last storm that moved out through this region just north of the Ryuku Islands just last week, mainly that was just a wind event and not really much precipitation at all associated with that system. And this system could very well be a similar event if the low-level circulation escaped this mass amount of convection off here towards the east. At this time, though, it does look like it might start to wrap around it, and if that is the case, the convection would carry off with it towards the west. But I do want to note just the western periphery is very dry right now, and that's also going to keep it relatively weak out here. Actually, if we look at the IR and water vapor differential, you can kind of see this high amount of water vapor throughout this entire area. That's what's indicated here in red and green, yet over here towards the west it's actually in blue, and that's indicating very dry conditions throughout this entire region. Actually, here on Okinawa, you might be seeing fair weather today, even out ahead of this system, basically as all that moisture gets sucked in towards the eastern part of this storm. So we're going to continue to closely watch this storm. The track is still widely varied, so nothing really to panic at this time. And even though it does move off towards the west here, I don't expect a high wind event, yet the precipitation, if this whole convection does carry with it, could be relatively high to some of the Ryukyu Islands. But zooming back out here, I do want to look at this little invest down here, invest 93W, continuing to spin down here just south of Hainan. It's actually been down there for about a week now, bringing a high amount of precipitation here towards the coast of Vietnam and southern China, continuing to see reports of flooding throughout that region. Satellite imagery indicating the potential for mudslides also is being indicated throughout here. So just going to continue to keep a close eye on there, and hopefully not too much of flooding reports come out of there anymore than we've already seen. But this is going to continue to be a potential problem. Looking farther out towards the west, we see this area convection here basically around Hainan in Vietnam, but this is all extended and connected with the southwest monsoonal trough out here towards the Bay of Bengal and the Andaman Islands throughout this entire area. And the reason why I mention this today is because we're starting to get into that time of year where the southwest monsoon might develop some tropical systems and tropical cyclones within it, and you actually can kind of see that right here up towards Bangladesh and Burma. You start to see a little spin and rotation rate in here, a lot of convection, and this could potentially develop a tropical system if this southwest monsoon continues to persist. So we're going to continue just to watch this area, and it will start to infiltrate a lot of the Indian Ocean updates into here as we start to see this convective activity and this monsoonal rain start to wrap up and become more of a potential threat. I do want to note, though, even this is already producing thunderstorms throughout the area. If we actually zoom in locally here to one of the cities in Thailand, this is Phuket, for example, continuing to see thunderstorms all across the region here and out into the bay, starting off with early this morning, then it kind of skips ahead to latter part of the morning. But you do note all these thunderstorms working their way onshore, and that is all associated with the southwest monsoonal trough. But that is all for right now, everyone. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know as usual. But I hope you have a great day. Stay safe out there, and check back over the next several days for any newer updates. Bye.